Time getting
Hi and welcome. I'm Felicia Ford. Welcome to the National Black Girl Month Fireside Chat with Dr. Rikesha and Felicia. We are going to get started. We're so glad that those of you who are joining us live are here. And for those of you that are catching the recording, we're so excited that you're viewing as well. Wanted to just set the tone first. This is like as if so before we started, we were chuckling a little bit about where we're from, what the weather is like, and that's exactly what we want it for today. We want it to be an actual sit-down conversation as if we are all sitting around a table. It's cold where I am, it's cold where Rikesha is. We were talking about blankets and heaters. So nuzzle up with your blanket, your pillow, and let's get started. So again, welcome. I am Felicia Ford, and I'm going to let Dr. Rikesha introduce herself.
Good afternoon. I am Dr. Rikesha. I am a psychologist by profession and a Black woman all my life. My research, my passion, my joy is researching Black women, Black women's experiences, specifically with respect to mediated images. But I also have worked in therapeutic spaces for and with Black women and girls. And I just really feel passionate about the experiences that we have on a day-to-day basis and the fact that far too often they get overlooked and go unnoticed. And so bringing attention to our lived experiences and shining light on the greatness that is birthed within those experiences is what we're here to do. So I'm excited to be here.
Amazing. Thank you, Rikesha. I'm Felicia Ford, growth strategist, founder of Felicia Ford & Co. And Rikesha and I didn't plan on doing this, but I think this might be a good time to share a little bit about how we met and how our work has coincided and brought us to this space. And so with that, I'll share that once I was working on my fellowship with the Strategic Data Project at Harvard University, I came upon this finding that many of the girls that were identified as truant in my work of researching chronic absenteeism and truancy in a school system here in Virginia, we identified that the girls that were identified as truant were 14-year-old Black girls. And the girls and parents that were most requesting assistance during that process of doing this outreach event were Black mothers of girls who were Black girls that were in the second grade. And so my work is very community advocate, nonprofit executive, philanthropist, all over the place for people, and especially for our people. But during that time, I was leading a coalition for truancy and attendance awareness. And I met a young man. I did mention this on the podcast, episode number 1, I believe, but I shared that I met a young man by the name of CJ. I haven't seen CJ since, Rikesha.
Really?
This is what, 2 years ago, maybe now. But CJ at the time was working with the Urban League of Southampton Roads, and he said, you know what? You need to meet someone. And when he said that, he did his virtual introduction. And from there, Rikesha and I met. And then the first time that she and I met, we were like, I think something is here. You remember that conversation?
I do. I do.
I think something is here. And we didn't know what that was. We didn't even meet with the intention of saying we're going to do something. We met knowing that there was this intersectionality between our work and our passion for Black girls and Black women. And as we continued, I don't even know how long it took for us to figure out like what we would do, but we ended up deciding that we were going to co-author a research article. What do you remember about those early beginnings, Rikesha?
It all feels like a blur. I will say that It's very interesting because I was in the Hampton Roads area. I lived there for almost 6 years, a little over 5 years. I was the director of the Honors College at Hampton University, which is how I met CJ. He was one of my students. He was actually my president the first year that I was there.
Mhm.
And he stayed in contact with me after he moved and after he left. He's become one of my mentees and then was a mentor to my son.
Mhm.
And I remember when he said, I have somebody that I want you to meet, but people say that all the time. And so I was like, okay, whatever. And he did make the introduction and we connected and scheduled a meeting. And it was such an empowering conversation of just like bouncing ideas and like minds and really understanding that the differences in our work still complemented the similarities in our work. And it was like, we can do something with this. So we started with the paper.
Right.
And even to go from that point, which I think was it was about a year and a half ago, not quite 2 years yet. From that point to how we got here, it's never been like a map. It's been just like step by step, like, okay, we're going to finish this thing. And then the next thing that happens is just another light bulb moment. Like, I think we can do this, or just an organic conversation. Now, the differences between myself and Felicia are that if I'm an ideas person and Felicia is an action person. So if I say something, I got to be ready because she's going to make it happen and she's going to push.
Yes.
We move those things from just talk
Mhm.
to meaningful action. And so the birthing of National Black Girls Month was really just a discussion. Every year for I think the last 4 or 5 years, I have done Black Girl Magic Month in March,
Mhm.
where I highlight a different Black woman every day of March for Women's History Month. And I
Mhm.
wanted to highlight Black women specifically. And so we were just kind of talking about that on the heels of having just published our paper during Black History Month. And I was like, I just think we should have our own month. And, we could do just something where we focus on Black women. And it was kind of bounced around like, yeah, we could have National Black Girl Month. And it was like, okay, for me, that was the end of this conversation. The next time we talked, there was a whole plan. And I was like, oh my gosh, we can really do this. And we're really getting ready to do this. And Felicia was like, oh, this is happening. And it has happened. And so I'm just very thankful to be in the right place at the right time. When you think about, people saying that your name is being spoken in rooms that you know nothing about, that is absolutely a real thing. And that introductions and statements are being made about you and introductions made for you, so that if you are obedient, you can be in the right place at the right time. And so I am just so excited to be in this space because this is a meaningful work. It's meaningful to me. It's powerful. It's impactful. And whether it impacts one or a million, I know that we are here doing exactly what we're supposed to be doing. So I'm very excited.
Oh my goodness. So as you were saying, sharing, things were triggering in my memory um, about this journey. And I have kind of kept my mom informed as we've gone along the way, sharing a tidbit here, sharing a tidbit there. And as her daughter, it is, I'm sure, not surprising to her. What you said was like, if I say something, Felicia's going to be like, "Oh, we're doing this, right? We're gonna do this, right?" So, just listening to you and just reflecting on this entire experience, I didn't have this plan either. It was, oh, this feels good. This is something good for us, for Black girls, for Black women, not just those who are, in a place of privilege where we can say, we have this education, we have these resources, we can do this, but also for those who are aspiring for different access and different entries into different spaces and places. But I'm so excited, and I think that sharing how our relationship has evolved is also a testament to what happens when we come together to complement one another and to support one another. Now, it says a lot about who Rikesha is and who I am as people, because you certainly have to have a level of trust, a level of vulnerability and authenticity, and just more than just like-minded, right? Like I feel like we're like-hearted people. We have very much so similar values and beliefs, and we have just immediately trusted one another and said, we're doing this and we're doing this 1000% together. And, showing up with your gifts and my gifts and really wanting the rest of the community to not just experience what we've created, but also engage and be a part of this process. And so I'm so excited. If we had like 25 plus people, we probably would not be able to do this. But again, organic conversation is if we're sitting around. I love hosting in my house, and I'm just going to imagine that y'all are sitting around the table with me. But I'd love, Rikesha, you think we can allow our guests to introduce themselves as well? Yeah.
Absolutely. If you are able and available, please do.
Okay, so if you're on and you'd like to introduce yourself, please share with us who you are, where you're from. You can come off mute, who you are, where you're from, how you got connected, and what your experience has been this far. I know that's a lot, but please share.
Hi, I'm Elsie Goodrum, a grant writer and working with the student assistance part of the program for yours ministry. I'm excited about being here. Yes, I've been Black all my life. And but even more importantly, I come from a mother perspective, but also a grandmother perspective of how to work with Black women. And sometimes we are shown that we can't work together.
Mhm.
And so it's wonderful to be here to see the collaboration that goes on, the actual love, the trust. And it's something that we don't see, whether it's personally or what we see on the media.
Mhm.
And so when we work together, and I love working together, um, it brings a sense of trust, especially in the Black community where we've been trying to. I was taught when I was growing up that when you come up, you take your hand and you bring someone with you. And it's community,
Mhm.
and you're here. Whatever you get when you get educated, you go back to your community and you give back because the people supported you and helped you as you were growing. And that's what we're missing right now. And it's so great to be here and to hear you both talking about, it's us working together. That's the importance. And we can't build anything not well by ourselves.
Right.
Right.
So I'm glad to be here.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much, Elsie. Thank you for sharing that. Did anyone else want to introduce themselves and share?
I will introduce myself quickly. My dogs are at my feet, whining because it is feeding time. So I'm moving around, but I'm here. My name is Tiffany Mackey. It is a pleasure to be here. I'm sorry if y'all can hear him. He's very aggressive and loud.
It's okay.
Okay, good. I'm in Decatur where it's greater. And I have two fur babies who like I said, are at my feet. And I do nonprofit work and policy consulting. So happy to be here, happy to engage in the discussion, and thank you for your work. Did I miss anything?
No, thank you, Tiff.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you, thank you. Something that Elsie mentioned that we haven't explored completely yet. Again, it's only been 24 days since we've been on this journey of celebrating and honoring National Black Girl Month. But one of the things that Rikesha and I really wanted to do, and I would say that we have done, is made sure that we've been careful about curating the narrative around the images that we're using and the stories that we're telling. We certainly wanted to do this in a way where we're sharing positive images because we are aware. I mean, like you both have said, we've been Black all our lives and we know what stereotypes exist out there. But the media is set on showing those negative stereotypes, right? I think of a particular, group of shows that come to mind. when I think about the narrative that's out there about Black women, and that type of drama sells, that type of drama entices people. But it reminds me, my very first time out of the country was to Italy, and we were in the Swiss Alps. So I went to Italy and then we went to Switzerland because it's not too far from where we were. And we were in the Swiss Alps, and we were in a non-English speaking town. They had BET, right? And they had CNN, and I think there was maybe one or two other channels. And I immediately thought, is this the only like exposure you have to Black people? Is BET? And I remember going down to, we had breakfast one morning, and then we were walking around in the village. I mean, these were really like villages, right? And there was a store on the corner. There were two older Swiss women who were probably in their 70s, and they didn't speak English, but they motioned to me, and one of them grabbed my arms and she rubbed my skin. She'd never seen a Black person before. And she was amazed that, you know, my skin was as dark as it was. And there wasn't any malice, right? There was pure curiosity. You know what it feels like when you're in those situations, if there's, if you need to protect yourself or if you can really engage with the person. But in other situations, there were West African refugees, and we witnessed those people be treated differently than we were treated as Black Americans. And so that has always stood in my mind. I personally grew up in a mostly white neighborhood. Most of my education has been in mostly white environments or non-Black environments. I went to a PWI for both undergrad, grad, and postgrad, and that's been my lived experience. And in fact, I've encountered some discriminatory and racial things as a younger person, but because I grew up with a very diverse family and friend group, it wasn't as impactful to me as I would say the last 7 years of being a Black woman have been. And I've never experienced as much racism. And I don't call them microaggressions, I call them macroaggressions because there's nothing micro about them. Uh,
Mhm.
but as I continue in my work, both in the Hampton Roads region as well as nationally, and encountering people who haven't been exposed to us and the different us that the media portrays,
Mhm.
it makes me a little angry. And then I have to set aside the anger so that I can take care of myself, and focus on the work and remember the little girls. I have two nieces. I don't have any children or fur babies, but I have two nieces, ages 3 and 1, who I'm essentially building and creating for, right?
Mhm.
I want to see the world change for them. I want to make sure that they're growing up empowered and believing in themselves. And so that is where my drive comes from when it comes to doing this and doing this work. And the 14-year-old girl who didn't necessarily have a face for me in my work from the capstone project at Harvard University, but I've seen those girls, right? Like for 15 years, I've been at truancy court, and I've seen these girls and I've seen these mothers, and I see how others in other positions of power and authority treat or mistreat sometimes these girls and these women. And that is why I'm here. That is where this like urgency comes from, and where and how we've culminated this vision. And so that's my perspective of what I'm seeing and what I'm doing and why I'm doing. But Rikesha, would you like to share some more about?
And I'm going to try to stay on topic, but the
Okay,
professor is going crazy.
go
So,
ahead.
several things. One, when we talk about stereotypes, the issue with stereotypes is that there is some truth to a stereotype, but it's generally truthful in a very small portion that we are applying in mass.
Mhm.
And the fact of the matter is that that subset does deserve the support needed to obliterate that stereotype, but we outside of that subset have to work so hard to not be lumped in that they don't get the support that they need. And so stereotypes and stereotype obliteration is at the forefront of the work that we're doing in this space. We will get to our vision, but I want to say about utilizing our platform to give voice to the lived experiences and making Black women be real and not be caricatures. Because unfortunately, when we look at media, media is dominated by people with money. And in this country, the people with money don't look like us. And so they get to decide what the images are that are portrayed to the world from this country. And that makes Black womanhood look very narrow. And Black womanhood is not a monolith. We are not a homogeneous group of individuals. Black women are as varied as sand kernels on the sea. That's not the word. It's not kernels. You know what I mean? Black women are just so vast and different. And when we don't give Black women the space to be themselves, then we are really robbing the world of the creativity and greatness that is Black womanhood. And so when it comes to tearing down stereotypes and uplifting the voices of Black women, it is because we have to fight the microaggressions. And when we talk about microaggressions, Dr. Rosemary Allen talks about death by 1,000 cuts. And so a microaggression feels like it's small to the person who has issued it, but it feels very big to the person who's receiving it. But also it's because that one thing that you said is the 98th thing that I've heard today from somebody. And you keep poking that same spot that started really small. You know, the hole in the pants was little until it got bigger and bigger and bigger because we kept rubbing or we kept pulling or we kept whatever. And so the death and the bleeding out that comes to Black women generally gets swept under the rug because it's portrayed as if I only said this one thing and she blew up. But yeah, you only said this one thing today, but perhaps you said 40 things the 40 days before that. And the other 50 people that I came in contact with in the hours before that have said something as well. And so that angry Black woman stereotype that started as the sapphire and is now academically known as the matriarch is rooted and established in the fact that Black women have had to stand strong. And the only way for us to be recognized in a lot of spaces is to demand recognition. And people don't like demands, particularly from people they consider to be underneath or the underlings of society. So that was a lot. There was something else I was going to say, but I can't remember. So I'm going to go to the vision.
I love it. No, this
Of
is
what we are wanting to do. And I've spoke to some of it. We want to create a world where the voice of Black women and girls is not only heard, but recognized, honored, and cherished. We want Black women to have the ability, the space, and the privilege to speak for themselves and then to be heard. We don't want to be spoken for anymore. We don't want you to tell us what we can do, what we can't do, what we're good at, what we like, what we don't like, or how we feel. We know that maternal health is problematic because doctors think that they can tell us that we don't feel what we think that we feel, what we know that we feel. We know that in court systems that Black mothers specifically are receiving harsher sentences because they tell us that we didn't experience it the way that we experienced it, that we shouldn't have seen it the way that we saw it. We don't want to live in a world where Black women, Black girls, our daughters, our granddaughters, our sisters, our cousins, our nieces cannot voice their experiences, and those experiences from those voices be held as authentic. So National Black Girl Month is bigger than just a 30-day celebration. National Black Girl Month, the vision of National Black Girl Month is really to give power to Black women to celebrate themselves, to celebrate each other, and to be seen authentically on a day-to-day basis, not just in April, but every day.
amazing. I mean, and I know it, but and I've been a part of it. And I'm sitting here as a spectator, as a listener, saying, yes, yes, Rikesha. Yes, yes. And I cannot wait to hear and see what people are saying and how they are experiencing this message after today, after this live version of this. Tiffany put in the chat, yes, love this. Is there anything that you want to add or share, Elsie or Tiffany?
I love what it's saying, the voices of Black women, but for the we've suppressed so much. And I think that with George Floyd, all of it just started. I didn't even realize how much I had suppressed.
Mm-hmm.
And so then when things happen, all of a sudden everything comes out. And so I'm glad to see this because for us, we're either very outspoken or we just hold it all in.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
That is such a great point that you mentioned. Which is why we also bring about talking about self-care, but we'll get there. And so our motto from this message and this declaration of supporting us and making sure that we are seen, heard, valued, and celebrated, the heart of our motto is spread the spark. Why? Because we are lights in this world, and we know that when we share our light, we may ignite someone else's light, right? We give them the courage, the permission to give themselves permission to shine their light and to share their light and to share their story and what else he just shared, which is to not suppress what you're feeling, to be able to hold space. Now, can everyone hold space for you? Maybe not. But we are being very intentional about cultivating this space so that there are people who can and are willing and have the capacity to hold space, but also to foster this empowerment and to cultivate this community. And are we expecting people to come and be best friends? If you do, fantastic. But no, but sharing this respect among one another and honoring each other. I'm from a very small town. I've lived where I've lived in this region for many, many years. But where I'm from, even if you don't know your neighbor, you wave, you say hello, right? There's a head nod, or you blow the horn, or again, you wave. But that is the type of community that Elsie mentioned earlier about her growing up. And that's something that I hold dear to me and my values as well. It's this, that is what community really means. I feel as though the media has also done this wonderful job of division, right? Of purposefully spreading the message that you can't trust other people, that all people are super bad, and that the Black community doesn't have strong ties, strong relationships, uh, positive role models, etc. Again, the negativity message continues, and we're here to say that's over. We're not accepting that. We don't accept it. And we're here to recognize the value that each of us brings. And as Rikesha said earlier, the diversity that we all bring, and that you're feeling supported in pursuing whatever it is that you want to pursue. There are some people who are lovers of gardening and homesteading. I want to garden, but I'm not dealing with the bugs. Okay. I'm going to love your gardening from a distance, right? I'm a super creative. I can create art, music, singing, all the things. You need a plan? I got you. You need an accountability partner? I got you. But there are other things that I don't have space for or capacity for. And I'm going to say, hey, sis, can you help with this? Is there another sister that can help with this? So our motto of spreading the spark comes from that place of you being who you are and being comfortable in who you are, secure in who you are, and then being able to be that in our space.
Absolutely.
So this is something that we're super excited about. I say this on my podcast. I say this when I introduce myself many times. And one of my best friends has said to me, excitement is your default. And he is not lying. Because excitement is my default. So we wanted to reflect with you and share with you some of the things that brings us hope about not just, again, this 30 days of celebration for National Black Girl Month, but also some of the things that we've accomplished in 24 days. Okay. Elsie's like, what? 24 days. And so when we released, now we finished Silent Dangers of Black Girls in Education, the paper, sometime in December, maybe November. And we were waiting for like, when does it feel good to release the paper? And so we released it, I would say kind of silently on Martin Luther King, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day in 2024. And then we just kind of shared it with people that we knew. And then as we were building for National Black Girl Month, and then, celebrating and honoring Black History Month in February, it was, what are we bringing to this? We didn't want to half step. We know that this movement is more than just, again, 30 days of celebration, but it's an actual movement. It's going to require some foundational things. It's going to require a lot of lifting and a lot of engagement. And so some of the things that we have to reflect on from this last 24 days, 25-ish days, are listed here, but we're going to speak specifically about those things. Rikesha, did you want to start?
So the first thing that we pulled together or launched was the Facebook community. And the Facebook community group has really had a lot of interest and traction. We are navigating the pros and cons of Facebook groups. One of them being that where there was a time when people were added to groups and their membership was automatic, now there are multiple steps to admission to Facebook groups. And so because of that, I think we have about 900 people who have been added to the group, but only about 200 people that have actually accepted membership into the group. And so if you don't actually accept the membership into a group that you've been invited to, for some people, you will see a 30-day trial of what's happening in the group. So it's also that some people can see what's happening in the group without accepting the membership. And so their interaction and engagement is not counted in our numbers. But we know that we are seeing in the group being seen theoretically by about 900 people, which is fantastic for the first 24 days, first run of National Black Girl Month, and we're expecting it to get bigger and better. We are learning as we go in terms of where people are going to engage and how they're going to engage, and so we'll be making some changes to the way that we are getting information out, but also how we are garnering the engagement of the individuals who are participating. And some of it is just as simple as people don't want to copy and paste. They just want to be able to forward, and they're not able to forward from the group. And so we have to make the information available in different spaces so that people have the ease with which to share the message. And if ease is what they need, ease is what we'll give them, because this is a powerful tool, a powerful message, and a powerful space. So there has been no loss from the Facebook group. If you are there and seeing it, we appreciate. I spoke to a woman who is a member of the group this morning, and she's like, "Oh, I answer all the questions. I just don't answer them in the group. I see all of the, I see everything, but I'm not typing that for anybody." And so we do know that there are people who do not engage publicly in spaces in that way. And so it is more than likely that even when you see a post that only has 2 likes and they're me and Felicia, that it's been seen by and
Right.
interacted with by multiple members of the group. And that in and of itself is a blessing. We know that we're touching hearts and minds every day. And so we're excited about that.
Absolutely. And Rikesha mentioned that learning the behavior of the group. We did a poll asking people if they were introverts, extroverts, or ambiverts, and most of the people in our group are introverts, right? I'm an introvert. People will think I'm not. I know Elsie looking at me like, what? I am an introvert. I am just an excited and outgoing person, but I am certainly an introvert. And I remember even when I started operating my business online and in the online space, you have to really think about, like, what do I want to share? And do I want to share? And of course, you have agency over what you will and will not share and what you don't want to share. But the fact that people are thinking and that they are receiving the information, as Rikesha said, we know that we're doing what we've been ordained to do. And so we're just excited and happy that people are then having these resources and having these discussions outside of the group, or even just thinking to themselves like, well, I never thought about that. Oops. Or I never considered that. And so our email community is also very active. And so we have the ability to gauge how many people are opening the emails, how many people are clicking links in the emails. And we have about 200 people on the email list. And again, this is in 24 days, y'all. So this has been such a powerful experience and such, I can't say that I'm not in awe because I am. And when you're actually behind the scenes, doing the work, creating the work, and seeing this part of the work, it's like experiencing it in three different ways. And so I'm just grateful as well that so many people are forwarding, are sharing, are communicating, are responding, and participating in ways. We also have one of the first things that we created was the toolkit. And we first put out this toolkit for adults. And it was basically to say, this is who we are. These are our core messages. These are some resources. There's, and I forget, it may be on page 12, but it shares like, this is what you can do individually to share and to celebrate National Black Girl Month. And there's like 8 to 10 different things that you could do. And then there's a side where it shares as a group of people, these are ways that you can celebrate. And then we've given you like an event a week to participate. Again, the introvert in me. I went out in March for some activities because it's fundraising season here in Hampton Roads. So I was doing things every week in March for the nonprofits here. And I was like, I can't see the introverts wanting to go out and do things every week, right? Like, even if it's just for 30 days. And so we've kind of balanced the types of interactions and engagements that we have. And then we have such a broad audience, right? I'm in Virginia, Rikesha's in Georgia, and we know that the majority of Black women are in the Southeastern United States. And so we're all over, right? So there are some things that you can do. You can host as someone in your community. You can bring your girlfriends together. You guys can get together and do something. And you can also participate in some of our online events. I don't know if Twitter is out because of its new owner, but last last weekend, we had the girls' night in, Black Girl Night In and watch party. And it was simply a way for us to come together and to really use the hashtags to make a presence online. Because regardless of what Rikesha and I do, regardless of what our vision is, unless we as a whole participate and engage, the world won't get to see in its form of metrics what we're doing, what we're doing, what we're doing. So that is a part of what we have to do to establish some things and to gain some traction. But if you're not a Facebook or Instagram person, we also have a LinkedIn page, and that's linkedin.com/showcase/National Black Girl Month. But if you're in the email community, you get a link every week to remind you where that is. And that really gives you a preview of the adventure for the week. So we've created adventures for every week and what we would focus on. And all of those things go back to what's in the actual toolkit. I went out to lunch with, what is her name? Michelle, why can't I think of her last name? She's the CEO of the YWCA here in Hampton Roads, Michelle Ellis Young. We went out to lunch and she was saying that she was going to share the toolkit with some of her groups that work with some of their younger girls. And I was like, wait, we focused on girls for Silent Dangers. We focused on girls for February. We shared on the Facebook page girls in history who have done some incredible things and faced silent dangers. And so this month was to be that intersection of Black girls, Black women, girl being all encompassing. And I said to Rikesha, I sent her a text. I was like, I'm just going to whip this up real quick. And so we do have a toolkit for Black girls ages 2 to 14. And it has more pages than the regular toolkit. It has more activities because we want, again, to help these young girls build this foundation and to have this secure identity in who they are as a Black girl. Oh, and our affirmations for Black girls. Now, you want to talk a little bit about affirmations, Rikesha? Because I'm excited and I'll keep
We
talking.
have affirmations by age. Right now, there's the 2 to 8-year-old available and the 30 to 39-year-old available, but there will be age ranges up to 75 plus available within the next 2 months.
Yes.
We'll say 2 months. By the middle of the summer, all of the affirmation books will be available. There are 30 to 45 affirmations per book, and it is a workbook. The affirmation book has coloring pages for the 2 to 8-year-olds. They are $10 for the kids. I think they go up to $15 depending on the age, and they are available on our website. But these books are, while they are sponsored by National Black Girl Month, they are not just for April. You can do them at any time. And one thing that research tells us is that positive self-talk can mean the difference between a good day and a bad day when it comes to how we engage ourselves. The words that we hear quickest are the words that we say. The things that we hear that other people don't hear are the things that we think. And so if we can start to ingratiate ourselves with positive wording, we are just doing that much better for ourselves and by ourselves. And so the Affirmations for Black Girls series is under construction and is coming together very, very nicely. Please be on the lookout for your age group. I was like, how do we get to 30 to 39? We're not in that group, but we didn't focus on ourselves first. So we started with the toolkit, and then realized that it really could that it really could become something a little more structured and focused on positivity. And so we looked at starting with the younger girls, because we did not have anything for that age group at all, and are expanding, and it's moving quickly. It's going to be great. Be on the lookout for your affirmation and share that with people around you, because we are going to start changing the narrative about Black womanhood, and we're going to start with ourselves.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Our Facebook group, age group, is more 30 to 39-year-olds than anything else. So that's why we went to that age group. But second to that is our age group, which is the 40 and up. So we will be next. We will be
But
next.
we're gonna fill them all in so that everybody has has their own book and their own opportunity. And it's phenomenal. It's very well put together. I'm very excited about it.
Thank you. Did you have a question, Elsie?
I was just interested when you said Facebook page group was 30 to 39, and usually they're Instagram and not Facebook. So I'm surprised. So that's great.
Me too.
Right. We were expecting it to be more around the 40 to 45
Right.
range, but 30 to 39 is who has pressed accept. So we're excited.
Showing up. So
But we
right,
have a wide range. That's just the majority. There is a wide range.
right. We actually have the Facebook group includes people, I don't know if they're actually 18 or not, but it'll only say like 18 to 25. So we have a very small percentage of 18 and 25, a larger percentage of the 25 to 39-ish, and then we have the next largest group is 40 to 55, and then we also have women 65 and older in the group. So we've got the full range.
And we have merch. So not only can you get affirmations, you can also get shirts and cups and journals and backpacks and all kinds of stuff. It's very exciting. The link is in the group. The link is on all of the pages. Please feel free, and more stuff is coming out because we get excited about things and we're like, oh, let's do one of these too. So as we get excited, you'll start seeing more things coming up, and that stuff will also be available year round, not just during the month of National Black Girl Month of April.
Yes. So if you are looking to get some Mother's Day things, you will want to check the shop by next Tuesday, Wednesday. I mean, there's things that you can order now. We have Black Girl Dreams Come True on a journal, on a t-shirt. We'll show a couple of our items about 2 slides from now, but there's a ton of things, a ton of resources, a ton of tools, and not just for Black women, but also for those who champion us and our allies as well, because we know that, you know, we don't want to always have to tell the story. We don't always want to have to teach. We don't want to always have to fix. We have to have those people in place too, to also share that message with us and for us. I'll share a little bit about our media reach. This is where I get to nerd out. So my fellowship, and I'll give just a little bit of background why this for me. My fellowship was with the Strategic Data Project at Harvard University, and everything is all about data analytics, data, right? And so there's that geek nerd part of me that loves data, that loves analytics. And so in us having a data-driven approach to our work, I am probably more frequently than I should, looking at the data, looking at the analytics from our social media, as well as from our website, as well as from what Google is ranking us as and how it's ranking us. Last week on Thursday night, was it Thursday or Friday? I
What are we
don't,
talking about?
we ranked
Thursday.
number one,
That was
Thursday
Thursday.
night. We ranked number one. It was 9:10 p.m. And I just so happened to be looking at some analytics, and we ranked number one on Google's search for National Black Girl Month. We haven't ranked number one since, but I'm okay with that. We ranked number one.
We got a
Right now,
prove it.
exactly. I have a screenshot. And actually right now today, shortly before we started, Rikesha and I checked and we were ranking number 3. So we're still up there. People are seeing it. And, you know, do we need Google to validate us? Internally, no. But for the world, yes, we do. We need it. So use the hashtags National Black Girl Month, share on LinkedIn the National Black Girl Month page, share the articles, comment on the articles. And if you're not the type of person to post selfies or videos or whatever, that's fine. We've got plenty of content that you can copy and paste.
Yeah.
Okay. You can go to the Silent Dangers page, Facebook, Instagram. It's Silent Dangers Black Women. You can go to the National Black Girl Month page on Facebook or Instagram. You can go to the LinkedIn page. LinkedIn is going to get us a lot more traction than anything else. And this video is going to be uploaded to our National Black Girl Month YouTube channel. And so the more we comment, the more we share, the more we hashtag, the bigger an impact we have out in the community. Sorry, that was my alarm. Okay, so that is what brings us hope, is that this message is reaching far and wide. All right, and these are some of the things that we mentioned. And so this first image, the yellow one, is our National Black Girl Month Toolkit. That was what we first launched with. And then we have our National Black Girl Month Toolkit for girls, our affirmations, 30-day affirmations for Black girls 2 to 8. These affirmations are specifically targeted to Black girls and to Black women for their specific age group. I'm in my 40s. I could write a book about life in 40s. I'm only in my early 40s, and Lord have mercy. The things, right? And I had different life experiences in my 30s than I did in my 20s. And so we took all of that into account as we crafted these affirmations. And then we also speak to, you know, some people have not been exposed to affirmations. They don't know what that is. But we talk about affirmations aren't a replacement for scripture.
Right.
But they have their place. And we talk about that in the book. And then this photo on the far right is an example of the affirmation for day 30 for the 30 to 39-year-olds. And this.
This is some of the merch that we have that we are very excited about. The shirt to the left, the black shirt to the left, is for women or allies. It says "Spread the Spark" on the sleeve, "Lead" on the front, and National Black Girl Month is there. Then we have the Cultured, Capable, Courageous, and Black shirt, mug, and tumbler. available, and there are a variety of colors available in all of those. The racerback t-shirt comes in a regular t-shirt as well. And again, all of those come in a variety of colors. And then we have the young lady shirt says Black Girl Dreams Come True, and it says dreams in the middle. And again, we are speaking life. We are providing hope and instilling positivity in the world that yes, you can be all of the things that you want to be, and that there's no small dream and there's no reason not to dream. And we want everyone to dream, not just our young girls. I think both of these styles come in adult and children sizes. So all of this is available to everyone. Please visit the link silentdangers.com/shop is where you can find all of these things, and feel free to purchase. And we will have a special release by Tuesday for Mother's Day specifically. So we're excited about that as well.
Yes, Tiffany says in the chat, want. Yes.
And you can have.
Yes. I actually placed an order. I wish I wasn't the first person to place an order, but I placed an order last week and my mug has come. My Culture Capable Courageous Black mug is in there on my kitchen table. I had tea in it last night. And then I also ordered the tumbler, and I can't remember which one of the shirts. I think I ordered the lead shirt and the Black Girl Dreams Come True shirt, but I think I'm gonna be ordering all the things because
There's bags, there's all kinds of stuff, and it's great. It's good quality stuff as well.
yes, I'm so excited. Okay, the role of community and solidarity. I think that's really been the undertone of today's message.
Yeah, we need your help. We need you to get involved. We really just need you to share the message. We know that the message is impactful, but we need you all to also share it to someone who needs to be impacted.
Yes,
That's our ask.
that's it.
Even before you buy something, share the message, then go buy something.
Yes, please. Thank you. Okay. Now, again, my favorite term. I'm excited, y'all. Future visions and aspirations. And it's vision plural because once we reach one goal, we have another vision, right? And we envision accomplishing everything that we set out to do. And so this community is going to grow. It's growing. Our aspirations, we've achieved everything that we've aspired to do in the last 24 days. And so that gives us the courage and just the affirmation that we are walking this walk as ordained. And so one of the things that we talked a little bit about probably 2 weeks ago or more was inviting folks to come in to be ambassadors. And what we will be doing in May, so next month into June, is sharing with you what what that will look like if you want to be a leader in sharing the message and cultivating spaces in your city and what that looks like. But being a part of our launch team, because we're already working on National Black Girl Month 2025, and we're not even done with 2024 yet, but we've got things planned and we can't wait to talk more about it.
This is not a one-off.
It's
We
not
will be back next year and
until
the
the
year
rest of our
after that.
days. Yes.
Exactly.
Until the rest of our days. And we will need to be training up someone else to take over when it's time for us to retire, because we're here to stay. We're here to stay. One of the things that we talked about was hosting a National Black Girl Month brunch. Are we all going to Atlanta? We don't know. Are we all coming to Hampton Roads? We don't know. Will we have different brunches at the same time in different cities? Probably, right? Probably. And so if you're a business owner, if you are in the position of being a philanthropist or of being a sponsor, we want to hear from you because we have this incredible press kit that was developed. We do have media outreach in progress, and we are expecting National Black Girl Month 2025 to be quite the big deal. And so we will have specific donors for specific things. And of course, our presenting sponsor, there can only be one, but we are currently, again, speaking with different groups of businesses and media outreach people to bring this part of the vision to pass. workshops. We posted a poll in the group asking what types of things did you all want to engage in? And the number one thing from the group, now if you haven't voted, we don't know. We don't know what you want. But for those who voted, there was probably about 25% of the group voted on this particular poll. And the number one thing was they wanted more information about wealth building and sustainability. 4 minutes left. Thank you. So wealth building, and we heard you, we listened. We are bringing you a wealth talk this Saturday. And so the link for that is bit.ly. I didn't even include that on here. bit.ly/the art of wealth, April 2024. And I can put that in the chat for those of you who are in the chat. And if you're catching this replay between today, April 24th, and Saturday, April 27th, I will make sure that it's included in the notes. We're also exploring Black Girls Meetups, a book club, and other types of learning groups where you can access this leveling up. We've got Dr. Rikesha Brown in the group. Okay, Professor. Okay.
And others. But yes.
And others.
So when is this going to happen
Which
again?
one?
Saturday?
So Saturday we have the Art of Wealth.
Right.
That is on Saturday.
At what time?
That is from 11 to 1. We will send out an email today,
Good.
a reminder for that. It didn't go out on Monday's email, but yes, it is scheduled to go out today.
Okay.
Yes. We sent out, we only sent out the calendar to the Facebook group. That's probably why. We have a calendar with all the events on the calendar. And so I'll make sure that that gets out this afternoon, Elsie. Calendar and link. Okay. So yeah, there's a ton of other things happening. And again, next month we'll be reaching out for ambassadors and talking about how this is going to look next year. And then you can also expect some other things, of course, after that, because we're not done. Did I miss anything, Rikesha?
Nope, that's everything.
Okay. So we're celebrating culture and identity. Again, we've talked about that today. This has been an incredible conversation about celebrating Black girls, celebrating Black women, being counterculture to what the media has said we are and has said that we need to be, and really owning our identity, right? We get to decide what we want to do, how we want to dress, where we want to go, what we want to be when we grow up, even, right? And changing our minds. Because again, a year and a half ago, Rikesha did not know, and Felicia did not know that we would be doing this. We didn't know.
We didn't know we were doing this,
We
but
didn't
we're
know.
here.
We didn't know. We had no idea. So that is our testimony.
Yes.
Final thoughts. Rikesha?
I just want to say thank you, everyone. Thank you for everyone who has been involved and engaged in any way. Thank you for all of the kind words. Thank you for even just praying for us, for thinking about us, for clicking on anything. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We're very excited. Thank you, Black women, for being Black women and being amazing, and for offering us the opportunity to have this space and even the need for this recognition. And thank you, Felicia, just for being great, being a good friend, working hard, and helping me to see this vision from idea to action. Thank you.
Thank you, friend. Thank you. I would need a whole podcast episode to talk about that part of our work together. But I really appreciate you too. And I really want everyone else to know that, you know, being in business it is not just about the business, but being in partnership, being in friendship, being in relationship with someone else and birthing something. It really is like picking a partner for your child.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I don't have one. But I'm gonna, you know, this is like we had to be the right people. We had to be the right place at the right time. And I'm really grateful for each of you, for those of you who are with us live today, those of you who are catching this later, I have to say thank you to my mama, because let me tell you, she hears all the things, right? Like, before I create something, sometimes I'm just like saying things at her, and she knows I just need a, a sounding board. So I just want to say thank you to the Black women, to my nieces who are an inspiration as well, and to all the Black girls and women we haven't met yet. We thank you, and we honor you, and we celebrate you. And so we're gonna wrap things up today. And we just want to remind you that we have 2 surveys out that we want the public to participate in. One is for the silent dangers of Black girls in education. So if you are a parent, a caregiver, an educator of a Black girl, then you want to complete the Silent Dangers Girls survey. It is bit.ly/Silent Dangers Girls. And then if you have been participating in National Black Girl Month, we would love to have your feedback on your experience from the activities and even for things going forward. So if you haven't participated in anything, we still want to hear from you, because we want to know what you need, what you think you would participate in, what you would want to engage in, as well as if you are interested in becoming an ambassador. And we'll tell you more about that next month in the Facebook group. So you want to come over to facebook.com/groups/National Black Girl Month. But if you have the toolkit, all of that is in there. You don't have to remember everything. You can just get the toolkit, silentdangers.com. That's all we have for today. I really appreciate you. I thank you. I can't wait to see you and to receive more of your feedback.
Everybody have a wonderful day, and happy National Black Girl Month.
Yes,
Thank
happy
you.
National Black Girl Month.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Happy
Great
National.
job. Great job.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.